Welcome to Webcertain TV. I'm Ben Lefebvre. Utilizing voiceovers and subtitles can be an effective way of creating multilingual video content, enabling you to engage with audiences all around the world. To tell us more about it, Emily MacKenzie is here now. Hi Emily, thank you very much for being here.
Hi Ben, thanks for having me.
So, why should people use subtitling or voiceover? Why?
Well, it's been proven that people engage and share content more if it's in an audiovisual format. If it's a video, then they're more likely to share it on social media. They're more likely to sit and watch a video than read a blog or an article. So it's a really great way of engaging your international visitors to the site or to your social media.
I have to say, I come from a country where we dub everything. We don't have any subtitles or anything like that. We've got voiceovers.
Yeah.
So I understand that.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure when I was a kid, I thought that only French could be used.
Yeah.
No other language. Never. So even if we had a video from the UK or from the US, I thought those people were actually speaking French. No, they could be Americans or like that, but they could speak very good French.
Okay.
Anyway, carry on.
So depending on sort of the format of the video that you have, then it would be advisable to either go for a voiceover or for subtitling. So if it's a more promotional video, if it's advertising, if it's marketing, then we usually say that a voiceover is going to appeal more to the viewer because it's going to add a more personal touch. They're going to be able to really encapsulate the persona that's required. So you can basically get your voiceover artist to almost imitate the original source, and it gives it a much more personal feel for your videos.
And I guess less effort as well for the audience.
Exactly, yeah. And if you've got a video which has a lot of on-screen animation or text or images, you don't really want to detract from that. So obviously having a voiceover, you're still going to get the full vision of the video without having to read any subtitles on the top.
So that's one of the instances when you actually need voiceover in that case. But when would you advise to get subtitling or voiceovers? Do you have any other examples? Or?
So an example where you could use either would probably be something more instructional. So it might be like a demo, or it might be sometimes interviews are quite good to use subtitles, depending on the actual style of the video. For an interview, you can have either like UN style voiceover. So what this is, it reduces the volume of the original audio, and then you have your voiceover sort of laying over the top, and you see this on the news every day. So that could be an option. But also, if there's not a lot going on, if it was like we are today, just sat next to each other having a conversation, you could have the subtitles running along the bottom of the screen and it wouldn't detract from what's going on. You'd still be able to get the message across.
Okay.
So it really depends on sort of the style and the end use of the video as well.
Okay. And what are the main differences in the processes? Because I guess obviously you might want to, you've got a voiceover, you might have to think about the voice you want to use, you might have to think about the persona you were talking about. Subtitling is more like in terms of style maybe. But what are the different processes? What do you need to take into consideration?
Both processes start initially with the transcription element. So this is basically transcribing the audio, the original audio. If you've got a script, then that's great because that's half of the job done. But you still need to time code the transcript. So this is basically synchronizing the on-screen action with the audio. And this is normally produced in an usually Excel template, which has all the time coding, and then it gives you the actual scripts there as well. And this is what's used later down the line when you're synchronizing either the subtitles or the audio with what's going on screen. At that stage, then you can translate the actual script. So this is to produce it in the relevant local language. And if you're already working with a translation company, it's a good idea to get the usual translators to do that, because you may have glossaries or style guides already in place, which you want to continue that and have a consistent voice coming across even in your videos. So that would be the next step. And after that point, this is where the processes start to differ. So for voiceover, like you said, you want to select the voiceover artist who's going to record the voiceover. You can get voice casts quite easily from many suppliers. They'll be able to give you a few voices, male, female. You can select how old you want them to be. If you want them to be really over the top and a bit hyper, or a bit more subdued.
Was it you being hyper here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Half hyper, half subdued, somewhere in the middle. So it really depends on that, and you get the option then to choose.
You might want to select an accent as well.
Yeah.
Let's say maybe a Scottish accent.
Exactly.
Maybe a Welsh one.
Maybe Welsh, yeah. Welsh is proven to be the friendliest of the English.
What about the Geordie one?
Well.
Anyway. Okay.
Put that to the side. So yeah.
For sure, not the French one.
So you get that choice in the beginning. But then you've got to think about booking studio time. So you'll need an engineer who's going to do the actual recording. Depending on whether you want the voiceover artist to be directed or not, then you can hire a linguistic director. So this is normally the case if you were doing something like a film or a television program. So you'd have like a linguistic director to direct them to become more involved, and that's going to eventually improve the quality of the voiceover at the end. But depending on, again, on the eventual outcome of the video, then that's not always necessary. When you have a promotional video or an advertising video where you're actually selling something, then it's also important to take into consideration usage fees. Now, these are hidden fees, which the voiceover artists usually apply. And it's basically like giving you permission to use their voice in your advertisement.
Okay.
People don't bear this in mind. So it can increase the cost of a voiceover by up to 100%. So they can charge the same again just to have that usage of their voice. It's like royalties. So they get a one-off fee in this instance. So that's definitely something to bear in mind as well.
Okay.
And then after that, it's your editing, your mixing. So if you've got background noise or sound effects, to mix that in with the voiceover, you then want to synchronize that with the video, and then finally master that ready for publication. So voiceover, you can see already there's a lot of different steps involved, and it's a bit more technical than I think people initially think. With subtitling, it's a little bit more straightforward. So once you've translated the script, you can basically either go down two routes. The first would be to burn the subtitles into the actual video file, or to create subtitle documents. So with burnt-in subtitles, you would get a video for each of the languages that you require. This would have the subtitles actually embedded within the video, so you can't remove them. It's not like closed captioning where you can choose to turn them on or off. They're just fixed constantly in the video. So that's one method. But subtitling documents are really, really useful if you're hosting your video on YouTube, for example. So with these, you get a document per language. And when you upload the video to YouTube, you get the option to upload the subtitle document alongside it. And you'll probably have seen it when you go on YouTube. You'll have a little closed caption symbol in the bottom right hand corner of the video, and from there you can select which language that you want to appear on the screen. This is a really cost effective method, and if you want to ensure that you're getting traffic to your videos, you can apply SEO to this as well. So you can embed relevant keywords within the actual transcript and upload that alongside it as well. So when people are searching in Google or whichever search engine, it's going to flag those videos up based on the keywords you use and pull them to the top. So you'll get, again, more engagement there as well.
Makes sense. And do you have any advice for people who would like to go for subtitling or for voiceovers? I
think when it comes to any type of audiovisual translation, it's always good to have sort of a budget in mind. How much are you willing to spend on this project? Because that's really going to affect which route you go down. Because, you know, as I explained, with voiceovers, you have all these steps, all these people involved, and obviously there's a cost usually associated to each of those. So if you have a relatively low budget, it might be better to go for subtitle documents in the beginning, just as a starting point. Especially if you've never done any audiovisual translation before and you want to test the water and see actually whether it's going to be of use for your brand, then that might be an option as well. But be very upfront with your supplier in the beginning. Say, look, this is how much I'm looking to spend. It might be you just want to trial it with one language in the beginning. It's better to start small than think, oh, okay, I've got 3 videos. I want them to be voiceovers in 23 languages and I've got this amount as a budget. So discuss it with your supplier from the beginning, be very upfront with them, and they'll come up with the best solution for you at that time.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you.